Awesome. Let's give Melanie a second to request to be on. Just hold it. I'll hold on for a second. There's Melanie. Let's need for her to request to join. There it is. Hey, Melanie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Laura?
Good. Sean's here as well.
Morning.
Good morning.
And we have our little Neurocatches set up here as well that we can talk about in a little bit.
Very cool.
Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. We can hear you as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on with us. I think this is going to be a really cool opportunity just for both our audiences to kind of learn a little bit more about, you know, how we utilize technology and how you utilize functional medicine, and more importantly, how can they work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So I will turn it over to Sean and just kind of let him introduce himself and his role in the clinic and with Neurocatch.
Hello. My name is Sean. I'm a kinesiologist within the clinic at Surrey Neuroplasticity Clinic, and I'm a Neurocatch clinician for Neurocatch within Health Tech Connects. My role here, I work with clients who are going through the concussion process in our concussion rehab program, and I also, as a Neurocatch clinician, teach clinics and clients the usability and the applications of our Neurocatch device as an assessment tool to help guide treatment and monitor recovery.
Awesome. Melanie, do you want to give a brief intro to yourself for our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Melanie Rathbun, and I'm the founder of Functional Vitality Health, and I'm a functional medicine certified health coach.
Awesome. So, you know, we kind of have a structured set of questions for kind of how we'll do our Instagram Live, just so we cover all of our bases. So let's just start with Melanie. What led you to becoming a functional medicine coach and, you know, dedicating your career to promoting healthy living and optimizing health?
Sure. So it was through my own personal journey. So prior to being in health and wellness, my background is human resources. So I was in senior management for many years in a number of industries, a lot of startup tech, aviation, and it was long hours, long days. And I found myself pushing pretty hard. I had a full life, you know. I'd be running on the seawall every morning, and you know, climbing the gross grind at night. Had a full social life. Yeah, it was busy, but it was great. And you know, the signs started to creep up that my health was failing. But you know, I was in my early 30s. I didn't have time for this. I had a lot to do. And so I continued to travel for work and do all of those things, and I kept pushing. So, you know, I remember one day very clearly, I closed my office door. It was a beautiful Vancouver day overlooking Cole Harbour. And I closed my office door, and my head was on my desk, and I couldn't get my head up. And, you know, I had this big coffee. It's the afternoon, and even the coffee wasn't working anymore. So I thought, oh, wow, this is it. My body had nothing left to draw on. And that was scary. You know, some of the signs I had noticed were I was slipping in meetings. My cognition was not sharp. The brain fog was really, really intense. And, you know, that's not mind over matter. That was physical symptoms. And so, it was time to address it. So I quit a fantastic job, and I decided I was going to return to SFU. And this time, instead of business, I was going into health sciences. I was going to figure this out. I love learning, and I was ready just to delve in. And so I needed to know what was happening in my body. And so even being away from work, I still was not sharp. My brain was not functioning as it should. And I could only, blame it on my dog and cat for the longest time for the distraction of my studies. But so it was then that it actually introduced me to functional medicine. And I had at the time, and this was maybe 8 years ago. And so I connected with a wonderful team of medicine doctors in Vancouver, and them to regain health. It didn't happen overnight. It took work, but eventually things turned. So one of the major things was again functioning in an amazing way again. Rely on my so of course transformed my life in a big way. So I didn't want to turn back to corporate. Worked really hard career, but I knew feeling what I was doing. I needed this new passion. So so I enrolled with the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. So there, it was a year-long program, and they're the only coaching program that's in collaboration with functional medicine. So I had pretty amazing faculty, and some really great mentors along the way. So, I like to say now, instead of learning about one's stats, in course, it's about what school did you go to, what year did you graduate, what were your achievements. Now I get to learn about a person's story. You get to know people, and that's a real privilege. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
That's awesome. For those of us who aren't exactly fully aware of what functional medicine is, and kind of how it differs from say traditional medicine, I'm sure some people might immediately jump to like a naturopath or something like that. Could you just provide a short review of what functional medicine is, and how do you incorporate functional medicine into working with your clients?
Sure. So functional medicine basically determines how and illness occurs. So, and then occurs health by addressing the root cause of the disease and the illness. So it's a very personal approach. Tool that we use in functional medicine called the functional medicine matrix, and the practitioner will work from the top of the matrix in physiology and function, the how. And then as a health coach, I work from the bottom of the matrix within what we call modifiable personal lifestyle factors. So together we'll focus on relaxation, we'll look at nutrition, look at exercise and movement, and stress and relationship in that person's life. Earlier I talked about a client's personal story, and this is also a big component that can be work with timeline. And often there's not enough time for a patient to tell the story and to feel understood by the GP. Simply, it's not. So, but understanding a story is so important to their outcome. They are an individual. So, my role as a coach is to just listen, to understand, and really ask a lot of questions. Just stay curious in what I do. And, for example, I might ask somebody as we're going timeline, like, last time you felt well. And I can remember when I was asked that question going timeline, I could hardly answer it. And, it's good to have that information and understand it. It's good to understand what the contributing factors were to get us to a place of not feeling. So that's what we do when we go through the timeline. Health coaches really bridge the gap between, the communication between patient and doctor. You could go, between your practitioner, get a lot of time down, but then you might go months want to connect with them again. So health there to kind of hold their hand, help hold them accountable to goals. They can connect with me at any time. We usually touch once a week. And that really helps with the patient when they have something to explain. What was that word that the practitioner used, or what is that they want me to do? And so I'm there to provide resources and education. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. Just give us 1 second here. It's got to switch. Are we back?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. We're just waiting for your. Oh, there you are. Awesome. Yeah, for some reason, the Wi-Fi here just all the bars went away, and we were starting to lose you for a second, but now we're back.
Okay.
No, that was definitely a great, full, in-depth answer. So I guess the follow-up as it relates to our clinic is: do you work with many clients who are living with symptoms of a brain injury or a neurological condition?
Certainly, I've worked with clients that have suffered concussions and are experiencing decline. Typically, the types of clients I work with in my private practice, functional vitality, is a lot of busy professionals that are looking to maximize their work and their performance through diet and lifestyle. So, just as I was in my corporate and noticed flipping, they need the same experience. So, a lot of my achieving clients, they may not have anybody within their inner circle that they say, like, I'm not feeling my best, or I'm not achieving my best. I don't feel at the top of the game. And I kind of like to call myself their secret weapon to getting back on top of their game, because I can help guide them through different ways. I mean, sure, they have a personal trainer and they might be doing all of the things, but I can come alongside them and just be available to help them reach their goals and feel like they're, max potential. So that's the type of client I'm with. I also contract with practitioners, and right now we're live practice out of Texas, and she is an Institute for Functional Medicine trained practitioner who has a love of horses. So we've gathered a team for full practice for horses and to help them live well and live on horses, and not let age slow them down. So, within the equine world, depending on the discipline of rider, there can be a lot of injuries. I've had my fair share as a rider. And so the focus is also in cognitive health, very so there. But I, up until this point, I'm not directly with people who are having a concussion. My experience has been personally people very close to me that have experienced concussions.
Okay. Yeah, just touching on your point there about, working with busy professionals who, want to improve their performance, whether that's mentally, cognitively, or physically. Definitely sounds like something even one of our offerings, neurofeedback, might be able to help with, which can be a conversation for the next time. But switching back, just from your experiences personally and just from the clients that you've worked with and gotten to know, do you feel the traditional healthcare system does a good enough job in assessing and treating individuals with brain injuries or neurological conditions? And I guess a follow-up to that could be, what led you to coming into our clinic for a Neurocatch scan, which is how we got connected.
So, Balraj, I didn't hear the part of your sentence, but I think what you're asking me is if I feel the traditional healthcare system does a good job in assessing and treating people with injury. Yeah. Okay. I think there are definitely ways to complement the current treatments that are available through proactive and preventative approach, and that include programs exactly what you guys are doing. So, there there's one practitioner that comes to mind, and I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but it's a really inspiring story. I call her a wellness warrior, Dr. Terry Walls, and very much involved with functional medicine. She now treats MS and TBI. She experienced an MS diagnosis, and through the power of food and going outside the traditional system, digging into, was able to heal herself. And so I just encourage you to go ahead, talk some really interesting stuff, but focusing on mitochondria is really supporting her system. So, you know, there are things that are non-traditional, definitely we can look at.
Awesome. And so let's move over into, you know, how we got connected, and that was you had come into our clinic for a Neurocatch scan. So just kind of what led you to coming in for that? How did you hear about it? What was that process like?
Mm-hmm. So my young son suffered his second concussion within a year. So I think it's been 10 months since his first one. So he had a Neurocatch done with the first one, and it was much more severe. And so the second time around, immediately I need to get a Neurocatch. I need to know, I need an assessment, and I need to know where he's at. And the thing I love about the Neurocatch is quick. You know, for a child, he's 7, to sit and have that done, it's quick, it's easy, it's non-invasive, and, you know, we're on the way. And, you know, Sean did a fabulous job of explaining to me what's going on with my son. So, you know, I wanted to know the severity of what he's dealing with, and this was only
Awesome. So let's give Sean an opportunity here to just kind of show the Neurocatch device and kind of talk a little bit about, you know, what kind of information does Neurocatch provide?
Yeah, Melanie did a great job of introducing and touching on a few really key points as to what makes the Neurocatch really beneficial for clients who need to get an assessment done. And she touched on a couple really key points. It's rapid and it's non-invasive. So in addition to that, the Neurocatch device overall is meant to give you a snapshot of your brain's health and function at that moment in time. And this is really different from the other assessment tools that is used in concussion management, because this is the only objective neurophysiological tool that gives us, that allows us to guide treatment and monitor recovery. So just looking at this, you can see it's a pretty neat device here. We're able to see your brain's responses to a stimulus. And what we're looking for here, we're able to trigger certain event-related potentials that occur as a response to the stimulus. And by looking at that response to the stimulus, we can tell by the size of the brain waves and the processing speed, as well as the shape of the waveforms, whether you're producing a good, healthy response to an auditory stimulus. So the process of the Neurocatch scan is that you would come in, and after getting things set up, you would hear a 6-minute auditory stimulus. And in those 6 minutes, you would hear different tones and different beeps and different word pairs. And some of these word pairs make sense, some of them don't. We try to see if your brain has a healthy response by seeing if you're able to differentiate between the incongruent and the congruent word pairs, as well as are you able to differentiate between the tones, and are you able to process those things really fast. So by doing a Neurocatch scan, we're able to see objectively where your brain's health and status and function level is at that moment in time. And we're able to do so rapidly, as well as non-invasively, which are a couple of really key points that Melanie touched on.
So Sean, following up on that, why do you think when dealing with the brain, potential brain injuries or, you know, brain-related matters, why is it so important to get an assessment done as soon as possible?
Yeah, so it's really important for us to do it as soon as possible, because then it gives us a baseline. I wonder if, yeah, she's connected. Okay, yeah, so ideally we would have athletes, and not even just athletes, but people who want to optimize their brains. Ideally, we would get them scanned before their seasons and before any type of unfortunate injuries might occur, so that we have a baseline to compare to. Even if you don't have a baseline, that's okay. We have a large set of data that we have gathered normative data from that gives us a range of outcomes, and we can see where you are within that normative range. But even if you don't have a baseline scan, if you do a scan immediately after an injury, that serves as the baseline scan for us to compare to down the road. The longer we wait, the more your brain has adapted, so it's harder for us to track the changes. So it's imperative that we get things done, the scans like a Neurocatch done as soon as possible, so that we always have something to compare to and track changes.
Awesome. So just following up on what Sean just explained, Melanie, after you received the results from your son's Neurocatch assessment, did you find that information was helpful? Was it able to help take some next steps?
Mm-hmm. I was grateful for one to get in with days. Sean was talking about the timeline of it, and definitely I would take that information, and it brought hurt. As I mentioned, the second time around was not as severe as the time, but I needed all that information. So it was very interesting. And I can tell you, my aura ring, I slept.
Oh, I think we've lost sound from you, Melanie.
My hair?
Oh, we're back. Yep.
Yeah. So what I did with that information was, basically all those modifiable licenses talk about using with, it applies. So, needed to make sure that my son was getting a proper diet. Okay, so that's a big one, is nutrition with brain injury. And so, we can't, what you call standard American diet, sad diet, and expect our brains to cooperate with us. And so, that's a foods, it's void of nutrients. So I take a very low glycemic approach, things like blood sugar too much, food, processed food, quite inflammatory is already, you want to bring down, quality or and grass-fed meat, supporting food, your gut disrupted with it. So we love bone broth, like that. A lot of blueberry, really fantastic to help stress and inflammation. The foods that are high in quality fat. Love avocados and all of those sorts of things. A lot of greens, plenty of plants, and then the vitamins and the minerals really need the repair, like your B and all of those sorts of things. So, I also feel that Jack was sleeping well. Deep sleep is important for restoration. It could get disrupted. So, we're just on deep breathing, getting into a calm, restorative state. There's a lot of things involved with concussion, and so, in the words of a 7-year-old, he says, concussions suck. They do. They really do. They hit you at all levels. So I needed to make sure the whole as well, for all of these types of things. We also saw a wonderful chiropractor, Dr. Ash Lilly. He helped him with concussion, a lot of the muscular work, and he's got a pretty amazing approach, like nothing I've seen. So that really helped Jack, brain training, brain exercises, things like that. And then eventually getting him school, return to sport through movement, getting the oxygen to the brain, those types. So he's happy to report he's back at school full time, playing soccer, and he's back at karate. So that's fantastic.
That's awesome. So definitely just wind down here. We have about 4 minutes left. Did you have any questions for us in terms, like either that you might be curious about or on behalf of your followers, kind of just on how we use technology or, what sort of things we have going on at the clinic?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've talked about Neurocatch, and yes, I mean, I have clients interested in what you're doing. So maybe you give an example of types of, what you do with a referral and the whole assessment process. Be interested to hear.
Sure. Yeah. So the way our process works is, whenever anyone reaches out, whether it's, a word of mouth referral, someone finds us on our website or social media, or they're referred by their doctor, we always do a free, 15-minute call with them, because sometimes they might hear about a super cool technology, but it might not be most appropriate for them, for their condition, but something else we might offer maybe. For example, if you have some clients of yours who, they want to improve their cognition, they want to improve their focus and attention, but, so far the bulk of our conversation's been about Neurocatch. So they might call us and say, hey, I saw your guys' Instagram live. I'm really interested in Neurocatch. Like I want to be able to focus more at work and be more productive. So our therapist that does that call might tell them, hey, Neurocatch might not be most appropriate for your setting or for your situation, but like our neurofeedback program seems like it's exactly what you're looking for. And then give them, a brief breakdown of what neurofeedback is, send them some free resources on more education about it. And then we kind of leave it in the hands of the client to make a decision of, okay, you thought you were calling about one thing, but, turns out that wasn't the best for you, but there is a great option for you. And if you want to proceed, let us know and we can begin with that. But we're really focused here on educating clients as much as possible and letting them make that decision rather than just telling them, oh, yeah, come in, like, let's do a Neurocatch scan, even though it might not be right for them.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, just wanted to emphasize, while we do take a lot of pride in treating brain injuries and neurological conditions, we do treat a lot of uninjured populations as well. People that just want to improve different aspects of their life. Functional, physical, cognitive, improve sharpness, mental clarity, get rid of brain fog. There's a lot we can do. And I think that's why, our two organizations blend so well together, because we kind of play off of each other. Anything that neurofeedback can help, functional medicine is only gonna further enhance that, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's great. Good.
Awesome. Sean, any last words?
No, I mean, well, yes, I think what Melanie's doing with functional medicine is really important, because she's addressing a lot of the lifestyle changes that can dramatically improve somebody's brain health, and just their overall health, not even just their brain health. So, she touched upon things like sleep and diet, and those are all little things that we can do to change in our day-to-day that isn't targeted towards cognitive training or isn't targeted towards attention training, but overall has that positive effect on your life that can lead to those changes. So, yeah, as Balraj was saying, I think the two areas, our two worlds, are really go hand in hand. So I think as we try to better ourselves, it's really important to change the things that we can change that folks like Melanie are addressing, and then use our assessment tools to track if those things are actually indeed improving. So yeah, I just wanted to say that those two worlds really go well hand in hand.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so Melanie, this has been super awesome. We'd be super happy to come on and do another one, but on your page next time.
Yeah.
There's tons to talk about and a lot we didn't get to today that we had planned for. So, let us know and we'll be there.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you both so much. Take care.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.